Okay.
That was
Okay. I'm recording now. Alright, so our very first session is, we're not going in order. We're not going in the order that we got in class. We're going from least important to most important. So we're starting with least important. So trying to use the whole recency effect. Okay, so hopefully everyone has one of these. L, we're starting tutoring now.
She's turning on.
No. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to kind of do this in sections, so we're not we're working, brain break, talking, working, brain break, talking. And so let's start off with just these first 4 questions here on the left. Maybe a pencil, just maybe, because if you're like, oh, super confident, and then you get it wrong and it's in pen. So maybe a pencil. And then we'll talk about each question and then about why certain answers are right, why certain answers are wrong. Kind of like if you did that bonus, or if you did that 10-point bonus, where it's breaking down each of the individual questions. It's kind of like that. That's what we're doing. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to just work on the left-hand side of this page. Those first 4 questions.
What's Miss Roach's room?
That's my husband's room.
Heath?
Oh, sorry. That Miss Roach died. The other new Miss Roach is she's no longer with us. She died 10 years ago. That's a great question. Go look.
It's my question.
Going in the video, right?
It's okay. That's the Miss Roach.
It's that way. I know where to go to get
It's reaching here.
her students to her room, and she told me to go bring these, but I don't know where her room is.
It's that way.
It's that way by Coach Parsons' room.
Okay. You know where we walk out,
I can take
and it's like 5.
Is it Miss Lowe's room? Yes.
Okay.
Or it's next to it.
That's big places.
That's going in the video, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So there's Miss Roach's older one and not there's a younger one.
Yeah, so my husband's room was Miss Roach's old room.
She's not, but there's
she
Miss
died.
Roach now. Is
Yes.
that the one that died? Like that one's mom.
No.
There's no relation?
No relation.
Oh. That's shocking.
Yeah.
It's 2 different Roaches. It's a baby.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't understand.
All right, so we're looking on the left-hand side.
Oh, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Only left hand?
Only left-hand. Just those 4 questions. If you don't know, just leave it blank. Got 1 more minute to finish those 4 questions.
Wow. Show it. I can't. Show it to the camera.
3 hands.
Wait, that's actually really cool.
It's like consumers on the other side.
I know. More. Okay, let's go over these first 4 questions.
At least you don't have like a chart.
All right.
Have you seen like the straw cup thing? pretty strong.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
like
like
a
this.
there's like a
It's like-
nameplate you can get like right to your
Kelly
Okay.
Taylor.
No, wait,
Okay.
you have to do your
Transforming urges, especially sexual urges. So, okay, what theory of personality is this coming from? Yeah, what's the big name for Freud? Psychoanalytic, also called psychodynamic. And so those two things, this is all of those defense mechanisms. So we have a defense mechanism where it's turning something into socially acceptable. Do y'all remember socially acceptable with what defense mechanism is this? Right, because S and S. Socially acceptable is sublimation. All right, let's break each and every single one of these down to just like a quick little review. Rationalization, you were just justifying it to yourself. Do y'all remember what displacement was? Yeah? You like take it out on others, right? You slam a door or you toss a table. And so you take it out on something else. This is a really thick marker. Let's see.
between displacement and projection.
Displacement's like a thing, and like projection's like on someone else. That's not.
Projection.
And displacement could be on someone else too. Like I could yell at you because I'm mad at somebody else. So projection is more like putting it on someone else, like projecting your feelings by like saying the blame is on someone else, or saying like, okay, well, like let's say you're cheating on your significant other or something. It's like, well, I mean, they like you like projected on them. It's like, well, it's their fault. They gave you more attention. Then it wouldn't be like I'm the victim here, really. And so
Isn't
just
that rationalization?
rationalization. Oh God, if you had just you gave like a list of things, maybe it's kind of they're very similar. But kind of projection kind of puts the blame elsewhere, where you're no longer the victim. Like the reason that I'm doing poorly in that class is because my teacher's pregnant and I wasn't there. It's like the internet exists. Khan Academy exists.
So
Ooh,
projection
gotcha, you got me there.
is what it's like you're mad at the thing that's making you mad, and then displacement is just anything else, basically. Right? Or
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of. Okay, but take it out on others. Others could be people or things. Intellectualization is not a defense mechanism. Don't really know how that word got there. Does anyone know what suppression means?
Like not to think about it.
Yeah, like you are purposely, that's different than repression. Repression is like you don't remember, but it's not like you don't remember on purpose, like you just repress it. You just push it down your subconsciously. But suppression is like I'm purposely choosing not to think about it. I'm like choosing to repress it. That's suppression. So it's like you purposely forget about it. Yeah, you push it down. Push it down to unconscious. Okay. All right. Let's look at question number 2. If I scroll down, the words stay. So hopefully we got what we needed to get. Oh, can I do something? What if I do this? Does it give me a little bit more space? It gives me a little more space. Okay. Yeah, but then I want people to see it on the screen. All right. Which of the following is supported by research on homosexuality? Does anyone know what the correct answer is? Okay, so you are remembering something slightly wrong. The cerebellum is like that lower part of the brain. It's like it's balance and coordination. What you were thinking of was the corpus callosum. Corpus callosum would have been
She got me with that one.
right.
She got me.
Corpus callosum would have been right. So it's not C. Because if it said corpus callosum, 100% that would have been right.
It's E.
It is E.
This was on the quiz.
You like me, yeah.
Or on our home. It was on our homework because I came out. And
We definitely saw more of the.
Yeah, that's right.
It was on our homework.
Yeah.
I
we
always
just
remember
remember
we
like
were
the-
asked about the Asian.
Yeah.
Oh wait, because it said like twins.
Oh, you're not like a superhero. We're the gay twins.
What
Okay.
It said like twins have like the same sexuality as each other.
Yes. So like we're not gonna have too many identical one straight,
identical.
one gay. Yeah. All right, and scrolling down. Which of do we want to draw? Let's draw it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, let's draw our little iceberg. What part of the iceberg is completely submerged? Id. What is your id? Right? It's your animalistic instincts. It is your aggression. It's your sexual urges. It is how you want to behave rather than how you should behave. How you should behave is your super ego. Like your superhero is that angel on your shoulder. So it's like your inner devil, which is like your urges. Super ego is more like morality, what you should do. How you actually behave and what makes your personality is your ego. It balances the other two out. Okay, so, ooh, hello. You came out of nowhere. According to Freudian theory, which one is the conscience? Your super ego. It's your super ego. Okay, so, does anyone know what libido is? It's your sexual drive. It's your sexual urges, okay? So, sex drive.
Do you have different ones?
No. Our sex drives.
What if you're asexual?
Then you don't have one. But like the sex drives do peak at different ages. So that's fun.
Oh.
With me.
For who? Boy or girl?
Girl.
Girl, it's gonna be in like your mid-30s.
Oh.
What
about wait?
Boys early to mid-20s. Early to mid-20s.
Okay.
Boys. And so like there's a
Okay.
Coke. No, it's because you're about to be less fertile, and so your body's having like a going out of business sale.
I gotta say, throw the eggs out, right?
It's throwing eggs, yeah. It's all like, you want twins? How about triplets? And so, yeah. And so a lot of twins and triplets, they look at their mom's conception, it's probably when they're in their 30s. Just because of really
My mom is 29.
Today?
Yeah, today. Yeah. Let's do that math real quick. All right. Looking at this question, we're looking at answer choices. Theories of emotion. Melinda went skydiving. As soon as she landed, a handsome man helped her gather her parachute. Melinda's heart was beating quickly and her hands were perspiring. Melinda inferred that she must be attracted to him. Which of the following is a theory of emotion that would best explain the relationship between Melinda's physiological state and her apparent attraction to the man that helped her? Okay, let's break down each of these before we answer the question. Which one of these says you cry, therefore you're sad?
A.
B.
B. You cry, so this is cry and then sad. Cannon barred happens at the same time, because when a cannon goes off, it makes a bang sound at the same time. So cannon bang, cannon barred. And so it happens at the same time. So cry plus sad is cannon barred. Okay, like arousal is not a theory of emotion. So it's like, which theory best described? That's not a theory. That's not a thing. Okay, there is one theory left that is not, it is a theory, but it is not an emotion theory, and that's social exchange. So if y'all remember the social exchange theory, this is every time that we either choose to help or not help, we can make a little pro-cons list. And when we help, it's because the pros of helping outweigh the cons of helping. So it's like we do a quick justification of like, is there reciprocity? Are they going to help me back? Or do I have some social responsibility because I'm a nurse and I know how to like do a Heimlich or something? And so you like weigh your pros versus cons of helping. That's a social exchange theory, which is not a theory of emotion. Chapter 2 factor. Does anyone remember this one?
It's basically the same as James, but it's like you have a brain thing after the crying.
Yeah, like your brain recognizes it and therefore like attaches a feeling to it. So like there's a cognitive label. So it is cry, cognitive label, and then sadness. The cognitive label of like, oh, this is sad. I was trying to think of there's a scene in Inside Out. Have y'all seen Inside Out?
Yes.
Okay, there's a scene in Inside Out where sadness is like actually, God, I forget what it was, the beginning of the movie, middle of the movie, end of the movie. She's like talking and she goes, oh, that's sad. Let me see her for a little bit. And like she recognizes, oh, this is a sad moment, therefore I need to be in control of her emotion. So that is like a perfect representation of the chakra 2 factor of like the recognition of like, oh, this is sad. Here, let me take over the control center so I can make her feel sad. And so that's chakra 2 factor. And that's why D is the right answer, because she inferred means to think, to have a cognitive process. And so it's not like, oh, she all of a sudden has this feelings of like emotion because she is sweating. No. She inferred. That's a cognitive label right there. Okay, let's do the next 1, 2, 3, 4 questions on the right hand side next. So give you some time to work on the 4 questions on the right hand side of the page. Okay, ready? Let's go over these 4 questions. All right. Do we know what this word is?
Like detrimental.
Detrimental. Do we know what it means?
Like hurts.
Hurts. Okay, so we're looking for something that's going to hurt your self-esteem. I feel like this question is fairly simple. What do we think the answer is? Okay, yes. Setting unrealistic goals means you're probably never going to meet them, and that would be a hit to your self-esteem. Speaking of self-esteem, does anyone remember this term? It pops up on the AP test more often than like you would think. Self-efficacy.
You're like believing you can do it.
Like I can do a task. Like specifically, I can do something. Not like, oh, I'm good. No, like I am good at writing papers. Like I know that I was given a deadline to write a paper, and I know that I can do this. I can write this paper. So like I know, like a confidence in a particular skill, in a task, in the thing to do. I can do this task. So I think AP test gave an example of which of the following is an example of self-efficacy. It's very possible that you might see this question later. I'm just rethinking of it right now. And it was like real understanding, like after falling down, Max realizes he can skateboard. Like I can skateboard even though I've fallen down. So that was the example. Okay. On number 5, there's really not too much to say about those answer choices. So on number 5, once again, not too much to say about these answer choices, but let's actually let's see if we can fit a little tiny hierarchy of needs. 1, 2, 3. Oh God. Okay. There, that's good enough. Okay, anyone know what the very bottom level, the very first level that is needs to be made? Physiological needs. So this is like food and water. Okay, once you got your physical needs met, you are, clothed and fed. What's next? Yes, the safety in general. Shelter would be an example of that. So safety. Okay, what's after that? Yeah, love and belonging. It doesn't have to be family. It could be love in any other way. But love, belonging. What's after that? That's self-esteem. And what is the answer to this question?
Self-actualization.
There you go. Which is the best version of yourself. It's like your true potential. And I always get the question of the best version of yourself. Like, what if you're Hitler? Is Hitler self-actualized? He's the best Hitler. No, Hitler's not self-actualized. I feel like it's stupid for me to have to say that, but I get that question literally every year. I won't get it next year though.
With self-actualization and self-esteem ever be tested against each other?
Self-actualization and self-esteem?
Yeah. Like would there ever be?
Very possible. I have not seen it, or at least I cannot remember of a time that has happened, but every time that I say, oh, that's never happened, it happens.
So then, what's like a distinctive characteristic?
You cannot reach your true potential if you don't think that you are good and worthy. You have to, you can't have low self-esteem and change the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funded perspective on life.
Okay,
I have a question.
Huh.
What's your favorite food?
wait, are we nothing on there?
Oh.
Actually, no, never mind. I'm now re-look. I do like the girl in the middle, with the fire.
That's
Yeah.
What is
So,
that?
so it's the actual DSM describing borderline personality disorder
Oh.
is what's making up her hair.
She wrote all the artist wrote all
Yeah.
of that.
That's crazy.
How old is that?
Not sure.
Are you doing that right?
Last year, the year before.
Do you
Do you switch them out?
Do you draw the duds?
Yes.
Yes.
There are a couple duds, but I'd rather have something there than nothing. So maybe next year or something. I'll be taking the duds down.
Well, it's gonna be that
But my favorite is in Jerome We Trust, which that doesn't mean anything to you, but in Eco and Pill. That's Jerome Powell, who is the chairman of the Fellow Research.
That's actually really good.
I know. She wasn't even in class anymore. I had her in the
That
fall,
was good.
and she was like, "I'm still gonna paint it because I told you that I would." So for no grade, she painted it.
For no grade.
For no grade. It took her days. Yeah, because she did it in layers.
I wish I could actually
Oh, look, there's little
No, she was very concentrated, pretty beautiful girl. Liz Bro. Who knows Liz Bro?
Oh.
Yeah, I should do that. Okay, approach avoidance. I think this popped up. I'm pretty sure it did pop up
on the
on the
on the
bonus.
The thing with the 10 points.
Yes.
Yes.
And a lot of people, after looking at it, a lot of people got it wrong.
No.
I was like, no.
Did you
Yeah, probably still gave it to you because it was I gave everyone a leeway. If you missed one question, you still got 10 out of 10. But if you missed 2 questions, I gave you a 9 out of 10. So I gave a leeway there. And a lot of people got this wrong. So approach avoidance, it's a conflict. So because there's approach, avoidance, and approach avoidance. And a lot of people think that approach avoidance is just like the first two that came before. So Mark must decide between 2 attractive job offers, so 2 good things. That's approach. That's a conflict. You have 2 great opportunities. That's approach. 9-year-old Carl, first off, what 9-year-old was named Carl. But 9-year-old Carl must decide which two distasteful chores to do. So it's like I have to clean the bathroom or I have to scrub the floors. Both of those suck. That's avoidance, because you want to avoid both of those. But approach avoidance is not between a good thing and a bad thing, because it literally is supposed to be a conflict. It's not well, would I rather clean the toilet or have ice cream? That's not a conflict at all. And so approach avoidance is when you have one option that has both good things about it and bad things about it. It's like, well, I could go to that school. It's a really good school. I'm going to learn a lot, but it's really expensive. I'm going to take a lot of the loans out. And so that is going to be D. Anna must decide whether to buy a used car that's in her price range. She can't afford it. That's a good thing, but it has mechanical problems, and that's a bad thing. Yeah. Okay, and I don't know what the other two answer choices are because they're not really any of the other conflicts. All right. Trait theory emphasizes which of the following? What is E?
Freud.
That's Freud. Use big girl words.
Psychodynamic.
There we go. Psychoanalytic, psychodynamic.
Yeah,
Woo, can't spell psycho. Okay. Interest D. Who is D referring to?
That's
What?
Eric Erickson.
Eric Erickson. This is Erickson stages. Trust versus mistrust. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. Initiative versus guilt. Hello, friend. Okay, so this is Erickson. Erickson is a neo-Freudian. Erickson's a student of Freud, so there's no way he's going to be in a trait perspective. He's going to still be under that psychoanalytic perspective. He was a student of Freud. He's very Freudian. Is there anyone that?
I think that's accurate. I do think it's still that this is like this age group.
Yes. Which is, I was thinking of Carl again. Like, which is not Carl. Carl's 9, but that's literally another question. Don't do that. Yeah, you guys are an identity. Yeah, you're like towards the end of that. Hopefully by now in later high school, you should have an idea of kind of who you are. What is the correct answer here? So is that a question?
I think C.
It is C. Okay. The trait perspective is that our traits are kind of stable throughout our life. So A, it does talk about characteristics, human characteristics, but the temporary nature part is what makes it wrong. Because and the changing part, if it just said nature of human characteristics, I think that would have been more correct. But it is not changing according to that perspective. Once an introvert, always an introvert. Okay, how many questions for this page? All right, I'm gonna give you like 1-ish minutes to do the 2 on the left-hand side. The 2 on the left-hand side. Just those 2 on the left-hand side. No, just today, yes. Right now, just those 2 on the left-hand side. Okay. We might be done with those 2 questions. Especially the first question, since we basically answered it on the front of the page. Chapter 2 factor, theory of emotions. First off, what is A? What is A describing? Yeah, simultaneous is can and bar. Oh, can and bar. The hypothalamus is part of emotions, but that's not what Dr. is talking about. Remember, the hypothalamus is those four F's: food, fight, flight, and fornication. That is the F word that we will be using. Okay. D. Cognitive appraisal, some sort of label from that. Okay. Who wants to earn a sticker? Okay.
Wait, but
I'm
What is the
That's what I
name
got.
of this graph?
Normal cursive. That's kidding. I know
No,
it's not.
not normal curve.
Can I use it? It was a joke.
Starts with a Y. It's
oh,
two.
Yerk stops in.
Yerk stops in.
Oh
Oh
my god. Good job, Al. Wow.
Nerd.
I did it on an hour too. That's hard.
You're nerds. I think it's a water bottle.
Oh.
Like the shape of one.
That's
Oh,
what
I
I
know,
said.
it's
That's
scrunchy.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
like
the stickers I used to make.
Oh my god, me too. You print it out, parchment sheet of paper.
Oh my god. Okay. This is Yerkes Dodson. That's the name of this model, this graph, the Yerkes Dodson model. All right, so the graph, we've got performance level on the y-axis from low to high, and then your level of arousal. Remember, like how nervous you are. Hey, what is it called for the part of the nervous system that is low arousal, where your heart beats slowly?
No, paramedic because your parents come down.
Parasympathetic.
There's sympathetic and parasympathetic. Which one is called?
Parasympathetic.
Parasympathetic. Okay, so let's write that down. Parasympathetic. And then if you are like a bear is chasing you and your heart's beating fast, ooh, I'm sympathetic to the fact that a bear is chasing you. So that's going to be high level of arousal. Sympathetic. My handwriting is awesome today. Okay, so which of the following, the graph above supports which of the following statements? What are we saying is the correct answer? Yeah, hey. Optimal performance is a function of task difficulty. So what's the best level of like arousal? Well, it depends on the task. For easy tasks, you want to be like really engaged and focused and like, really awake. But for like difficult tasks, like cutting diffusing a bomb or open heart surgery, you probably need to have like super calm and steady hands. Probably a little bored, just so you're not like cutting the wrong wire or cutting the wrong person. Yeah. I don't think we have any notes for any of the other answer choices. It's just like, what does the graph say? Which is a great practice for next year, yeah? Looking at a graph and realizing what it says. See you guys next year. Okay. Now let's finish off this page. There are, 4 questions? Okay. Hey, no talking about that question. She's in my class. Not everybody is.
I don't know. I just looked over. And I saw like you going right next to her desk.
3 out of 9 is a third. Right?
Yeah, that wasn't, but it wasn't
So like
super fast.
6 out of 9 would be like 2/3.
That
Okay.
doesn't make sense.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry your pretty little heads.
What if I'm looking at math?
You literally
Oh,
went to your
yeah,
desk.
yeah.
You went up to. You went up
I need to bring a calculator?
No, I got it.
No,
Oh,
she.
okay.
You do math quietly, and she's like,
not.
"What
I
is
know.
anybody
I was
like
like,
you
I
need a
can't-
calculator?"
It's the mental. She was like,
Yeah.
Guys,
Math is hard.
anybody else?
Like,
We'll have to work on
numbers
it
are
for you.
weird. Okay, finish the page. Give you a few minutes
I
to
didn't know
finish
we
the page.
were allowed to use it already.
yeah, I agree. I can never skip.
I'll probably say.
You see anything wrong with it? And you feel like Charles would ask for rechecking the key.
No way.
He was
Yeah,
actually
was
right
there
there.
actually a problem?
There was a problem.
How did he know?
Was it going to say like, how did I get number 5 wrong? I looked at it and I was like, how did you get
So did we
number
get
5
a
wrong? And so
Only
it was
B does.
key
I mean,
wrong
only A does.
on test A.
He uses for
Yeah.
I had B. So you would A. No, you had A. B, you're A.
Or your B.
Well, if I get some.
You probably don't want your.
No.
Just to double check.
No, to do it.
2 plus 2 equals 1.
2 plus 2 is
You gotta make sure.
Yeah, just to make sure the calculator's right.
Oh my god, I do that. And I do. No, Miss Taylor, I do that.
I don't know what's.
Okay, so maybe this summer before your senior year, maybe just practice some basic math stuff.
Do you get
I just
calculators
never
on
felt
this
it.
in eco?
Yeah, but like, yes.
Okay, but.
What did you say?
You get calculators on the eco test? We get those little.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, can I pull my TA84 during the test?
I got Wi-Fi connection. Sure, whatever. Okay. Wait, are you DC or AP? Oh, yeah, no.
What?
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
Why not? That's not
Because
fair.
the AP test requires only a 4-functioning calculator, not a graphing calculator, so we gotta practice like we play.
Oh,
DC,
so but I still
I
get a
make the
calculator.
rules, so I'm gonna still get a calculator.
Oh, okay. So,
Yes.
but I can still use it. I thought you meant like their AP doesn't get to use a calculator.
Oh, no.
I was like,
Yeah, as of like last year, they now get to use a calculator, but before they had to do all the math.
cute. Well, lucky for me.
Okay,
Because I have to go.
Mark
I have to take.
is a flight attendant, a male flight attendant. Wow, that goes against my representative heuristic. Began his workday in a bad mood. However, by the end of the day, he felt much happier. Interesting. According to the facial feedback hypothesis, what may influence Mark's mood? Okay, what is the facial feedback hypothesis?
He's tired.
Yes, whatever your face structure is. Like if you frown, you'll start to be sad. If you smile, you will start to be happy. So like smile equals happiness, according to this theory. So C. That is what the facial feedback. Your face muscles tells your brain to think a certain way because your brain is like, oh, look at me smiling. I must be happy. I love E. You just have some good friends that were on the. No. Yeah. All right. Which of the following argues that physiological needs create aroused psychological states that try to get us to satisfy those needs? Okay. All right. So what? It's the right theory. Okay. Remember, let's break each and every one of these up. First, drive theory is all about reaching homeostasis. It's that balance. I think of like Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold. It's gotta be just right. So if I'm thirsty, I'll drink water, but not to the point where I like dilute the electrolytes in my body and slip into a coma, which is possible. You can't drink too much water. Instinct theory. This would be like, but like yes, but I'm gonna use like innate. You are born with it. Polar bears, when they are hunting, they cover their nose out of instinct because polar bears, the only thing that's black that you can see is their nose. So they cover it to hide themselves, to camouflage. They have never seen themselves in a mirror. They have no idea why they're covering their nose, but biologically they do. So, geese fly south for the winter, that kind of thing. Arousal theory, this is like why we climb Mount Everest and why we skydive. Okay, what are the two incentives that like we respond to? Heart, air, money, which is external
Internal.
and internal. So like internal,
Like happy.
which is like happiness. It brings me happiness. And then external would be like money or quality points. Stickers.
So internal's like emotion.
Yeah, like I do it because I want to do it. Like I read at night, not because there's a test the next day that I have to read for. I read at night because I enjoy reading that book.
What's the book you're reading right now?
It's not very good. I mean, it's fine.
Are you reading that new one that just came out?
No, I just finished a good book. If you want like a not hard to read at all, totally like mindless, but like who done it? It's called The Guest List. I mean, like I read mindless crap. I don't want to have to think too hard. Because I read it right before I go to bed. Right now I'm reading First Lie Wins, which is kind of intriguing because
Is it romance?
no, it's no.
Have you read A Little Life?
No.
That
book is
so.
You finished
that?
it?
Yeah.
I went, I'm gonna read that.
Is it by that stupid Hoover?
It's
No.
called his name is like Edgar Coombs.
Oh,
Edgar
okay.
K.
Okay, that Colleen Hoover shit.
The
Like,
only one
it's
I like
terrible.
is the
Food.
what's
What
that?
is
The most first of us.
It Ends With Us?
It ends with us. That's the only one I
Oh,
like.
you know what's good? Very.
Okay,
I
I'm-
like that one.
I'm pausing this. Okay. Laura's in transition from Erickson's industry versus inferiority stage to the identity versus role confusion stage, which is the most likely what she's experiencing. Okay, so do we have some space here at the bottom? Oh God. Just real quick. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ew, no, why is it not whoa.
Trust versus trust versus mistrust. Autonomy versus autonomy versus shame. What? Oh, there's room. Look at how much room I have.
How many is that?
That's 8. Trust versus mistrust. No.
No, there's one and then it's industry.
Yeah. It starts with I.
Oh,
Initiative versus guilt.
I know them from there.
Industry versus inferiority. That says inferiority, clearly. Identity versus role confusion.
I think that's like you like that mindset.
Intimacy versus isolation.
Industry's like
School.
No, industry versus what?
Inferiority. And clearly,
Oh, that's my bad. I
Yeah.
just
obviously, like this area right here,
like,
never been clearer. Intimacy versus isolation, generativity versus stagnation, and integrity versus despair. Hey, we are having some great female bonding time.
And Jake.
My bad.
And Jake,
No.
All females.
welcome to basically every psychology class in college.
How'd it
And
go?
kill me.
How'd it go?
Good. How much time is it?
We're here till forever. We're having dinner. We're all going out to eat.
You're fit enough. We should go somewhere nice.
I just catch you. I just watch the recording. I saw the recording.
No, you don't
Just
want to
sit
do
down.
that.
Say hi to the recording. Grab
No,
the packet.
no. Okay. I'm just scrolling really quickly. Okay, so she is in the identity versus role confusion. She's trying to figure out who she is. And so what's the correct answer? C. She is less interested in accomplishing things that she would have been accomplishing at school, but now she's all like, "What? Who am I? What's going on? Who am I? What am I writing? Who am I?"
Wait, what is that? Intimacy versus
Isolation.
Is that the self-concept?
You have such great handwriting. What are you talking about?
Self-concept, identity. Aren't those the same two words? Yeah, basically.
But what happens if you don't get identity? You end up in role confusion. What then? Forever.
Then you're kind of like one of those people that are like chameleons, where they kind of just like,
They have no sense.
they have no sense of self, they're just like, they blend in.
No back.
Like you know, it's like a
Give an
term. It's like,
example.
oh, like I have a different personality with every group.
Yes.
With every friend group I have.
It's
Yes.
Ooh.
So like, okay, so.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone's favorite.
Can we just like brainstorm?
Can we talk?
Okay,
Right.
we're going
Yeah,
to
we're gonna
brainstorm without writing.
Yay!
And we will write the right answer. I would hate for you to just write a whole bunch of crap and then be like, I was totally wrong. So we're going to brainstorm A and write.
I actually forgot it's one.
Yes.
I actually forgot. I'm not gonna tell the whole class.
It's the rough.
So you, is this one?
Yeah, it's homework.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You actually forgot your Lulu bag and your shoes.
Jack.
That's yours.
No,
Oh, this is the word. All right, so I will read the prompt.
Yes. Hold on.
Yeah, like, I won't be there to do the test.
Or
Okay.
Have you seen the picture of like the teacher on the roof that like moves the tiles and like spy on her kids?
Oh, that would totally be me. Okay, I show up dressed as a student. I'm like, hey guys, what's the vibe? Okay. Dr. Khan works for the marketing department of a company that manufactures mechanical dog toys. That seems like a joking answer. All right, Dr. Khan has been asked to assess the effectiveness of new advertising campaign that is designed to be more persuasive to people with certain personality types. She brought 4 groups of participants into the lab to watch the video advertisements and to measure the likeliness that they would purchase the toy, both before and after watching the ad. The results of the doctor's scan is presented below. Okay, so we have high agreeableness, low agreeableness, high conscientiousness, and low conscientiousness. The little light bars are before the watching of the ad, and the darker bars are after watching the ad. Part A. Explain how each of the following concepts applies to Dr. Khan's research. Survey, dependent variable, and then big five theory of personality. So let's just look at A. Spend a couple of minutes on talking survey, a minute talking about the dependent variable, and then a minute about the big 5 personality. Go.
Survey.
So it's like the chance of purchasing after watching the ad. And then big five theory. So no, I know, but like I forgot what each one.
It's openness,
Conscientiousness, extroversion, introversion, agreeableness, and then neurosis. But like I don't get how the high agreeableness then they have like the like less likely. I thought they were gonna agree.
They're more likely to agree initially,
high
maybe after like it doesn't like meet their expectations.
No, but that's part of the agreeableness.
Like they agree initially without like any kind of thoughtful and like actually define
Okay,
it
so
by
like,
what
we're
you're
in real life.
Okay,
So
so
like,
it's
look at so and it's all like, how do they respond? How do they respond? Not like, this is how they respond, but like,
Last year I
they
did
how they actually respond.
like not like is this accurate to how someone?
Yeah, so like on an FRQ, hey, you can make up totally random bonkers stuff. Like, it's like, how does this term apply to this term? And you can make up any story.
As long as you
As long as you clearly are like linking these two ideas together. Okay, are we ready to talk about survey, dependent variable, and big 5? Okay, so I both hate and like AP psychology and FRQs, just because you can like sometimes you can write like a full paragraph and I'm like, ugh, you didn't actually answer the question. And then sometimes you can write like 2 words and it's like, oh, you get the point. Okay. This is what I would have written and would have gotten the point. You could have written something similar for survey. What? You, yeah.
Can we write it then?
You don't have to write.
No, just
No.
you can remember.
Wait, can we paraphrase? Just like
Yes, okay, here's what you can't do. You cannot You have to write a complete sentence on the AP test.
Okay, but
You can't just say like on dependent variable, you can't just say blah blah for a you have to say the dependent variable is. So you can't do that. You can't just bullet point. And you can bullet point, you just have to put a full sentence after the bullet point. You just can't put bullet point, drugs. We use drugs as a dependent variable, of course. Anyway, so survey. Dr. Khan used a survey by asking people questions and they responded to them.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I don't really look, because it's like, okay, that's what you're looking for? Yeah. By asking people questions and they answered them. I know that seems really like obvious, but keep in mind, like, you could have been defining like experiment, and you would have to say like, oh, there's a control group and an experimental group, and there's an independent variable that the experimental group gets. So like, it's asking you to define basically a survey. And so a survey are questions that you will respond to. Dependent variable, that was bullet point 1. What did y'all put?
I put the chance of purchasing.
Okay, yeah. The likelihood, yeah, you kind of want, for when they're asking about independent, dependent variables, don't make up stuff, go back to the actual prompt to use the words that they use. So you're kind of like picking and choosing. And so like I put like the likeliness that the participants would buy the toy, which is directly from the prompt.
If I said
It's just percent chance though, on the ground.
That's true. The percent chance of likeliness.
If I just put chance, would I get it wrong?
Just the word chance?
No, like chance of purchasing.
No, that's fine. Yeah. What am I writing here? Likelihood of purchasing dog toy. All right. And last but part of A. Big 5 theory of personality. Agreeableness and conscientiousness are 2 of the big 5 traits. That's it. It's pretty simple.
Wait, big 5?
Yeah.
What did you say about big 5?
Agreeableness and conscientiousness, which is on the table. If I can spell conscientiousness, conscientiousness, are 2 traits in the big 5.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
Is agreeableness like how well a person is liked?
It could, like, it's not, but like agreeableness is usually going to lead whether people like him or not, because it's more like, think about it as like argumentative.
Okay, so you're not argumentative. If you're,
For high agreeableness, you are not argumentative. For low agreeableness, you are not agreeable, you're more argumentative.
Okay.
So it's like the opposite, I guess. Like L would be low agreeableness. Okay, not bad or good, just you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Like you are not gonna be a pushover in terms of like what you think.
Yeah.
But also that could make people, that could rub people the wrong way. Not me though, I like it. Alright, B. Talk about B with people next to you.
It only shows 2 of 5.
On the table. Okay, it
Okay,
only
so
shows 5.
you didn't write it.
I don't know. And then I said that 5 would their chances I know go up after, which is like working for different companies, so like that's.
People can
I know, some things.
If they're too agreeable,
I know. No, it's coordinated. Like you can't totally predict what it's going to except me.
Then people's likelihood.
I would drink coffee. No,
So wait, how does it?
I had
Just
A, today I had A,
I mean, you come back from lunch, they'll say good morning. A is a like, oh, and lunch.
I saw it.
They got the personality, they defined each person as high agreeable, high conscience by a survey, right?
It's from Sephora.
I don't know how they got to know if they're agreeable or not agreeable. I'm assuming they did.
Yeah, but I think they lied in the survey.
That's not what B is asking.
What's wait, why don't you go before choices?
Like,
Go into who's it? Because I think
like a planner, like people that are high on conscientiousness are like more organized, more plans, like to-do lists. Yeah.
so it's opposite, like just very cluttered.
Or just like go with the flow, like, oh, we have a plan, whatever, yeah. Okay, part B.
No,
I love to.
I say like I hate
I
these.
have to think of things that I've already done. Just like-
Me too. I have a bunch of things to do.
But
It's like,
no, what I was saying is I hate going like.
just like a check
them
box.
off.
Yeah, mine has to be able to be checked off.
No, it's not for this. This is not for today. This is like, oh, my room today. So like when I'm done with the unfortunate period one.
No, look, I have like my weekly.
Okay, let's talk about part A.
Yeah, I write down.
I feel like that.
It's like the homework and I go like adding stuff real life.
But that's where they test will do that.
No.
Like say you will go against the actually the graph. Are you just like
Obviously,
how
like
do
I'm
you
not
watch?
against going.
And so like the eight,
Oh, yeah, maybe
it's too good. Does this a lot more like, oh, we're gonna hurt the economy, and the scenario will make the economy hurt even worse. Because people think like, oh, at the end of the question, everything's gonna be back to normal and the economy will be good again. No, they try to like subvert your expectations. Yeah. Okay. B. Chances are you probably got the first bullet point incorrect based on the things that I was hearing. Okay. It is not saying what is like wrong with okay, no, you're right. What are the limitations of using a survey? Not like
It's not.
what's the cons of a survey,
Oh, based
but
on the
what
research.
are the limitations of the research method used? The research method was a survey rather than an experiment. So what's the limitations of a survey? What can you not show? You cannot show cause and effect. You cannot show causation. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, honestly, like if you read this really quickly, it would be really easy to get this one wrong. So like, since it was a survey, it cannot show causation. Since cause and effect, I'm going to use the word that they use because I want to make sure that they know that I know what I'm talking about. Since cause and effect is a limitation of surveys.
So you should try to use like the words in the font.
Yes.
How long is the AP test?
Wait, is it on paper this year?
It is on paper.
So like, why wouldn't you? Could you use like say like only experiments can show causation? Okay.
Yeah. So I forget, you asked me something. Oh, about brain size and correlation. We were talking about the other day, intelligence, and you're all like, how can they not prove that? It's like that would require an experiment to actually manipulate the size of people's brains and just to see. That would be unethical to do that with humans. Okay. And then explain what Dr. Klein's research hypothesis most likely was. So, like, what do you think she thought it was going to be?
That after watching the ads, they'll purchase. Because I mean, she's making the ads. And,
Yes.
She's gonna make an ad that it'll be
But what
different
is
for
she-
her personality. types.
There we go. You have to mention the fact that there were different personality types, and the different personality types would change the likeliness of them buying it or not. And so, When I put, she expected, she had to have expected a difference of how people with different personality types would respond to the ad, because that's why she separated them in personality types. So she expected a difference in people. Oh God, I'm not writing straight. In people with different personality types.
Mister, can't you just record on your phone? Like set your phone to break.
Yeah, but it won't catch. Like, they can actually see this screen. Everything you see here, they can see.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. So, like, they won't have to be like, what does the word say? Like, it's as clear as the screen is.
I see.
Yeah. And since my handwriting is, I don't want to make it any more challenging. So, she expected a difference in people with different personality types to respond. Let me use the word differently again. Differently after watching an ad. Oh. What just happened?
I threw the thing, it didn't land, and then I came over here, and then I landed and like scratched my feet. Oh, my pantorrilla. Well, it's a pantorrilla. My calf.
How do you say calf?
Pantorrilla.
That's not right. Okay. She expected a difference in people with different personality types. Did I say the word different too many times? I think I paused and changed mine 3 times. Yeah, I did. Okay. She expected to be a difference of how people with different personality traits would respond to the ad. Yeah, I did need this part. Respond after one. Different types to respond. Okay, good. All right, and last but not least, part C. Use the graph to answer the following questions. Don't use what you think would happen in real life. Use the actual information from the graph to answer those 2 questions. Talk with a friend.
People with agreeableness are less likely.
I just put agreeableness, it had like a big difference of those words are more likely to like watching the ad because I live in really young and then in my first conversation I said that it affected them not a lot. Like they were kind of saying the words. It's like
Like Miss Maya was like, oh, that's good. Just make sure
then,
like make sure they know that
levels
you
of
were.
punches not have little impact or correlation.
Well, I don't know what that might be.
The likelihood of
I was reading over the chief reader report, and it actually looks always. The chief reader. It's like the scores like notes for the future students, and it's like, oh, make sure that you know that your survey can't prove.
Yeah, that is something that is always tested.
Yeah.
Like they're always going to talk about surveys or natural observations, and a lot of the times they will say, Dr. Taylor showed. Dr. Taylor, and they won't even say causation. They will say
Proves that.
proved, or they'll say that studying makes people have higher grades. Well, making something is like this causes this. They don't necessarily use the word causation, but people like they're looking for the word causation or whatever. So they'll say they did a survey about how long you study every night, and the study shows that studying makes people have higher grades. No. That's a correlation between studying and higher grades. But saying that studying makes you have higher grades, no, not necessarily. You could study like the wrong thing, and then your grades kind of go down. Okay, so this one's kind of wordy because you have to talk about both high and low of each of these, agreeableness and conscientiousness. Yeah.
Could you not say like people with agreeableness have like a really like large difference in their perspectives
No.
afterwards?
Too big.
Damn, I would get like half of this at first.
But we're practicing. And we're getting it better. We're doing better. Okay. Okay. Let me say one real quick. One FRQ will always be over research methods, and then one FRQ is just a random grab bag of terms that you have to apply to like a certain scenario.
How many FRQs are there?
This would be the first one. This would be a research
So is
methodology.
it just multiple choice and then FRQs?
It's 100 questions, multiple choice,
Select.
in 70 minutes.
70 minutes.
Wonderful.
70 minutes, 100 questions.
Select.
And then 2 FRQs. Okay,
We're done, girl.
people with high are less likely to buy after ad. People, oh god, people with low, what? No, I would write out people and with.
Wait, they're not gonna accept. Do you think they take off points if you do it with?
This is, you have to write the word people and with.
Really?
Yeah.
But like statistics and chemistry, like you can.
Those are math-based questions. This is more like a literature
Like,
type of. I mean, you try that and see what score you get, but that's not something that I would want to gamble on testing. So people with low are more likely to buy after ad. Okay, for conscientiousness,
Wait, can you write
the actual numbers. Oh,
like the abbreviation, like with like the W?
don't do that. This is not a text message. This is what college credit.
But what if I'm like going quick, like during the test? Like, are they gonna count off points if I use that? Because I use that actually on my my WAP test.
You probably don't want to upset the writers. So, or the readers. You're the writer.
Don't use like the W with the slash, or like if you did that. And then I use the and.
I think like if you did like an and like that, that's probably fine.
Yeah,
but you don't want to be like,
I was like,
oh, and then like Genghis Khan was like at Mongolia. No.
no, I just use the W with the slash.
Yeah.
Because I was like really cute.
He really locked in and killed the population of
People
Like only on the one. Like
high
I'm paying
or
attention.
low conscientious. No,
It'd be so
I said
funny.
are slightly
Stop show.
It'd be so funny if people use like
slightly. What did I say? Slightly more.
Here we go, Miss Taylor.
Yeah.
Could you like just say that they
Scribbling
have?
on it.
Just say
Everyone
if I
loves me.
If I say that they have
Everyone
bless
heard
you.
Everyone
So
heard
go.
that in the audience.
tutoring people
Can you
video
say it
teachers
just-
listen to me.
Wait, hold on, I can't even.
High.
Wait, Miss